Greetings everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I am reviewing Kirby Return to Dreamland for the Nintendo Switch. This is a remaster of the 2011 original Wii game with new content added to it. Now I must disclose I never played the original Wii game, but from research the game does look a lot nicer on the Switch. Pretty much all of the textures are upgraded and it's running at full HD resolution with 60 FPS, which is a serious upgrade over the original Wii version. The game on the Switch generally looks a lot nicer and a lot more colourful. It's definitely on par with the rest of Nintendo's first party games. Also, from watching footage of the original, I can conclude there is no tethering of the graphics or jagged edges around the graphics on the Switch upgrade, something that seemed quite common in the original Wii game. As a result of these upgrades, gameplay is pretty smooth and fast paced, as most platformers are. So the better frame rate really does make a difference gameplay wise. The main story is mostly the same and the typical business as usual Nintendo platformer story. A spaceship suddenly turns up one day out of a wormhole and crashes on Kirby's planet called Popstar. King Dedede and Waddle set off on an investigation and find an alien called Magolor, who they offer to help repair his ship, with the alien tricking Kirby and his friends into traveling to his homeworld to help him become more powerful so he can take over the universe. The story is mostly then Kirby has to stop the bad guy who tricked him and save the universe. The game does feature all new story content as well in the form of an epilogue where you play as Magolor trapped without his powers in a different dimension and slowly have to restore them to escape this different dimension. Ultimately, however, no one plays Nintendo's 2.5D platformers for the story. It's all about the gameplay. It's a standard but smooth platformer. You bounce around the levels collecting things to find 5 pieces of the spacecraft, battling various types of enemies along the way, upon which you use Kirby's eating powers to defeat them. It's the standard Kirby eats an enemy and then copy their powers and abilities to battle against other enemies and solve traversal puzzles. There are 26 total copy abilities, some brand new to the Switch version. You have the Kirby staples such as sword that gives Kirby a sword, fire that allows Kirby to throw fire, bomb which allows Kirby to throw bombs, high jump which allows you to jump much higher. There's also now 5 super copy abilities that give Kirby much more power. They also added a few newer copies abilities from All Stars such as Festival Copy. They also added 2 completely new abilities such as Mecha Kirby, which is the most OP ability and allows Kirby to fly and fire rockets. It absolutely devastates enemies. There's also a sand ability which allows you to manipulate the sand in some levels, as you will have to destroy environments to find secrets and progress on most of the levels. Pretty much all of the super abilities are powerful and allow you to take out groups of enemies at once. The boss battles are mostly classic Kirby bosses. Most of the bosses are the typical multi-phase battle where you dodge an ever-increasing difficult attack and then slap the hell out of the boss like you are Will Smith to grind down its health bar. Overall, the bosses are not too difficult and for the most part well designed, but nothing super frustrating. You fight everything from knights to bat things to a giant tree. Each boss is as colourful and as wacky as the last. The game is broke up into 8 worlds with levels in them, with loads of things to collect, the main being 128 energy spares, which you may need to replay levels to get all of them. The game takes around 6 hours to beat, so it's a relatively short experience, but it's a quality over quantity experience. It's a well designed fun 2.5D platformer. The epilogue, which is the new content, is a sort of roguelike inspired game where you play as Magolor that has no powers and has to get them back. It's 4 missions broken into 4 stages, and as you progress you get more powerful and upgrade your abilities. It doesn't play too differently to the main game, but it's a bit more challenging and puts an interesting twist on the formula. Plus it has some exclusive boss fights. It adds around 1.2 hours to the story. As well as the main story, there are 11 mini games you can play in this theme park like area. Each one is like a Mario Party style mini game. There's shooting gallery type ones, a top down arena style combat game, one where you feed Kirby various things, another one where you quick draw a sword. So there's a good variety, and I guess it's something that will be played a couple of times and then forgotten about. The only motive for playing them is to unlock cosmetics for Kirby or just fun. This mode is definitely tailored towards playing with a group of friends. The whole game can be played 3-player co-op. I will test this feature, but I don't have any friends myself, like all people who make YouTube videos. Although I do suspect the game would be made a lot easier with friends. There's also the typical arena mode, which is like a boss rush mode where you fight multiple bosses after each other and have a more challenging variant of the campaign. It's definitely more challenging than the main game. This is where hardcore players will probably spend most of their time. Although the game is pretty easy and accessible for all players, especially the first few hours that lack a lot of challenge. There's also an option to make the game even easier with a new mode that makes the game easy by giving you this companion guy that pops up to throw you items and power-ups. Later on, however, the game does get a bit more challenging, but nothing too bad. It's definitely appropriate for players of all age. Overall, Kirby Returns to Dreamland is a great looking colourful game with a lot of character and solid well-designed platforming gameplay. I would say if you've never played the original like me, then this is a good buy for the Nintendo Switch. However, if you played the original, I would wait for a sale, as the awesome new graphics and content don't entirely justify the £50 price tag, especially as it is a bit short. However, it is a good game and a worthy addition to anyone's Switch library. Thank you everyone for watching.